So, the nightmare begins again.
Hey, welcome back to FE6 No Death Challenge. Last time, there was an awful lot of death despite this being called a No Death Challenge. This time, I'm gonna try and stick to the challenge and not die. Thankfully, the first chapter we have here isn't actually that bad. It feels kind of like the breather chapter. Like they know chapters 7 and 8 were really challenging, so they kinda give you a little bit of a breather chapter after all of that. Which is really funny considering the breather chapter is a fiery pits of hell. Huh. Well, their design choice, I guess. The main thing about this chapter is that you can pretty much take it at your own pace. The only thing that's genuinely coming at you are the enemies to the bottom left, which can very easily be dealt with some kind of promoted Rutger, or really, you don't even need a powerful unit like Rutger to deal with them. They're just fighters and a few mercs. It's not that dangerous at all. While they're attacking, I did want to bring up another funny thing. Remember earlier in the series how I said the Rapier just doesn't work? Yeah, it's not exclusive to the Rapier. The Horseslayer Lance and the Halberd Axe that you see here isn't programmed to work on anything other than Cavaliers and Paladins. To them, horse enemies are just those two horse enemies, not Nomads, Troubadours, Nomad Troopers, or Valkyries. So, yeah. That was it, just wanted to bring that up because it confuses me. There is one tricky cluster of enemies right before the boss that can be kind of tough. There's a mage with elf fire, and as we all know, no one knows what the fuck a resistance is. There's a mercenary with a killing edge who's just plain mean. Why would you do that, man? Come on. And then there's an archer that stops us from just being able to safely deal with this all with Shauna. So you kind of just gotta run at them with your high movement units and take them out effectively. Just don't let them have an enemy phase to come attack you. Kill them all yourself. And you know, I was thinking with that mercenary with the killing edge, it's only fair to attack him with our killing edge and crit him to death. I want every single person watching to know that when I missed that 82% crit, I felt in my bones that mercenary was going to land the 54% hit into the 17% crit. I could feel it! It didn't happen, but I want you guys to know that you thought it was about to. The last thing worth mentioning here is the boss of this chapter. This son of a bitch is difficult, even not on hard mode. And on hard mode, he is fucking rough. Normally, I don't actually think that Rutger is that essential on hard mode. It really feels like you can get by without him if you want to. But this fucker, you're gonna want a promoted Rutger to take him out. Most of your units will not even be able to hit him, let alone damage him. And, whew, he can hurt you a lot. So trust me, just use Rutger. This is one of the times when a unit is properly hyped up by the fandom. Fuck this boss. Before we finish up this chapter, first of all, can I bring up how on my 4 attacks on the boss, I didn't land 2 89% crits? Like, can we just bring that up? I just want to think about that fact. And the other thing I want to bring up is something I actually forgot to go over last episode, and that's that I've started supporting Roy and Shauna. Why those two? Well, both of them have strength problems, and both of their affinities are ones that give strength. So, for being near Roy, Shauna gets +3 strength, which really makes a difference because she doubles everything, so basically that's an extra 6 damage on attack. Very useful, and something that I wanted to bring up that I did. Alright, on to Chapter 9, and guess what? It's our first Fog of War map in the entire game! Which really isn't that bad to deal with. I mean, the game just gave us Astolfo, who is a fairly good thief and capable of increasing our vision to a nice amount, and we have a torch staff we got much earlier, so as long as you aren't running in like a goddamn pea-brained monkey, which I'll admit I am prone to do, this chapter really shouldn't be all that rough for us either. Oh, wait a minute, hang on. I'm a Fire Emblem channel. This is a Fog of War map. Excuse me. Fog of War is bad.
I agree with that.
Mr. Paint, what do you say to the notion that Fog of War isn't as bad as people make it out to be due to the abundance of thieves and torches given to the player? Fog of War. What about the idea that Fog of War isn't necessarily good or bad and should be judged on a map-to-map basis? Fog of War. Okay, got that out of my system. Now, the one thing we're gonna have to watch out for here is actually in the preparations menu. This map has 2 new units for us to recruit, and they can only be recruited by one specific character for both of them. So, for Shin, we have to bring along Sue, and for Fur, we have to bring along Noah. And, basically, we're just gonna hope that I don't get Noah killed like a dumbass this time. Thankfully, the enemies here are mostly dumb, slow pirates, which can be dealt with much easier than most other types of enemies. Over-aggression is your biggest enemy on this map. You can just watch where the things are coming from with the help of a Stalfo or a Torch Staff if you're feeling frisky, and you don't have to rush things. Fur will come to you. Shin will come to you. You don't have to go out and find them. There are reinforcements on this map, but they don't show up until, like, turn 12? So you have plenty of time to go down to the south and save the houses there. Because, as it turns out, the pirates that are on the map don't actually destroy the villages. In fact, I'm not even 100% sure the reinforcements destroy the villages. You might have infinite time here. I've just never lollygagged long enough in order to get them to show up and destroy the house. So, let's just go over the first of our 2 new units, Fur! Fur is one of those units that's honestly completely fine, but is a little outclassed. Fur is a level 1 Myrmidon. Let me repeat that. A level 1 Myrmidon. When we got Rutger like 5+ chapters ago, he wasn't even level 1, he was level 4. So there's a problem with that. She does have hard mode bases, which is pretty good, and her growth rates are fine. But Rutger was gotten much earlier, and there isn't really much of a difference between them. So if you wanted a Myrmidon, you'd be using Rutger. And if you haven't been training Rutger, then you didn't really want a Myrmidon to begin with. But her stats are completely fine. Fur will make a just fine Swordsmaster. If you really want to, like, you can use her. This map has a lot of axes for her to train on, it's fine. But, like, she offers no real advantage over Rutger unless you really like Myrmidons. I am a hero for life man, so that second hero crest ain't going to her. But if you like the Myrmidon Swordsmaster classes, Fur will do just fine. Other than the new units though, this map is really uneventful. I know why it's like that. I mean, the next few maps coming up are going to be pretty interesting. But this map, much like the last one, just kind of feels like a breather chapter. The pirates aren't that threatening, and the only thing that might be a little funky are the poison axes. And, like, poison isn't even that bad if you get hit by it. Like, you can just let your units slowly and painfully poison themselves to death, and, like, it won't matter. You can heal them. Oh no, it does, like, 2 damage. Oh, I'm scared. So, the only other thing really left to talk about in this map is, Shin. So, let's show off Shin. I know, I'm a comedic genius. Anyways, Shin is probably the single best bow user in the entire game. Solid bases, solid class, solid growth rates, and he's even got hard mode base bonuses now to boot. He's going to be the best recipient of the Orient's Bolt hands down, and you get one very soon, so he wastes no time in being really good. Shin's only flaw, if you can call it that, is that leveling him up contributes to the Sake route, which is what I went over with Sue earlier. So if you don't like that route, you're not going to want to use Shin. But, personally, he's just so good that I would say it's worth risking the split going out of your favor. He is very good in a game where bows are actually pretty good to have because of how strong Wyvern Riders are. So, yeah. Good job, Shin. I don't have something funny to say at the end here. I would like to thank you all for watching yet another episode of Fire Emblem 6 No Deaths. So far, I'm holding on to my sanity after the last episode. You know, we're going at a good pace. Things are looking not terrible. So naturally that's going to change soon, but before it does, I would like to thank my patrons, the people that pay me money every month in order to keep this nonsense going a little more smoothly. Those patrons include Bish Neer, Follow Pen to the North Star on Twitch, Great Riek, Green Brigand, Kieran Morin, Nember, Rangerman Sam, Wario Carroll, Ryan Walter, Steph D, Brentendo11, and Drew Hack. Thank you all for your continued support, and I will see you... Ah, wait a minute, I forgot something. The final thing to talk about in this chapter is the route split. The Western Isles in FE6 is home to 2 different mini routes. 2 chapters are different, those being 10 and 11, depending on whether or not you visit the top right village or don't visit the top right village. That sounds like a really dumb way to do a route split. It is. I don't know why the EELB games really like doing route splits on completely nonsensical things, but hey, who needs an active choice on where to go when you could just visit a village without any knowledge that you're doing something? But regardless, 99% of people prefer the A route, because Echidna's a very good unit, and a lot of people think 11A is one of the best maps in the entire game. So yeah, I guess that probably means we're not going to visit the top right village so that we can get to the A route. Ha ha! No! This is B route supremacy, bitches!